Howdy Bomb Squirtle here. I'm trying out a new sort of video. My last two I just put myself building a test chamber to music. And I thought that actually was kind of cool, especially with the time lapse, but this time I kind of wanted to try a new format out. And right now I'm just going to let you know this is completely unscripted. I'm just watching the video through and talking about my thought process as I build the portals, or the chambers. So let's just see how this works, and if I like it, we'll keep it. If not, we'll change it up. Just kind of looking around. If my voice annoys you, let me know. I personally don't think I have the most wonderful voice to listen to in the world, but I will try to enunciate properly this time and to give you some decent commentary. Looking forward to what you guys think about how I work on these chambers. I am looking to get better at this game in terms of building puzzles as much as just having fun building them. So anyway, without that, I'm already kind of a little bit behind. This is chamber 2.1 or 2-1, however you like to say it, 2-1, if you're like that. An introduction to blue gel is basically the idea of this chamber. And right now you can see I'm building a really basic kind of bouncing room. And the idea behind this one, number one, is because of that pit, until the third jump, you have very little chance to fail. You can basically just run forward and fall in. And as long as you don't side strafe into one of the walls, or one of the ceilings, I guess, you'll be fine. You should make it over to the next side. The point of this chamber was simply to show you that no matter how far you fall in gel, until you hit terminal velocity, you're going to bounce that high up as well. So at first you're jumping from a 2 height, you bounce up to a 2 height. Then you jump from a 4 height up to a 4 height, and then 6 to a 6. And it's all in the same gel, so they know that there's no sort of weird tomfoolery trickery. I also threw this gel up top, the dispenser, or the dropper, to just show players that these things dispense blue gel. Because remember, these are intended to be instructional as well as, puzzle-based, simply because I want to test my friends on this, and a lot of them have never played Portal before in their life, or if they have, it was a long time ago. So yeah, I think it's pretty simple. In fact, I think this almost exact chamber ended up in the released game. But nothing works, or nothing's wrong with it, so keep with what we got. So now what I'm actually working on right now in this section, have been for a little bit, is the third part of this test chamber. Originally it was going to be the second, but I got a little over the top with what I wanted people to do for a second stage of learning how to use blue gel. So I had to throw in another chamber, and you'll see me add that later. So this is the third stage, and the idea behind this one was just to basically teach players to go through a slanted portal, bounce off the blue gel, and get a longer jump that way. And you can see right now I'm opening it up and testing it. This is, pretty basic stuff here. We're just testing to see how far I'm going to end up flying. And you can kind of see I'm derping around here. I really do wish that the first jump on a blue gel would be the max height, not this kind of almost 2 blocks high, but not quite. So yeah, I'm testing it out right now. I'm seeing how far it goes, and I was seeing if I would bounce to the same spot if I jumped off. And I did not. And I guess I should have figured that out since the blue gel was falling from a 4-high wall ceiling, or 4-block high ceiling. But I didn't, and here I actually got a phone call, so it'll be just a couple seconds before I get back into it. So now I'm trying to figure out if I can use the blue gel to bounce to get higher in order to match it, and I run into the problem with it running into the ceiling. Not a big deal, just hop out and rebuild my ceiling. Okay, so now I'm just kind of messing around. I do this for a little bit. I do this from time to time. I'm sorry. I might edit these out in the future. We'll keep this in now since I'm apologizing for doing it, but we'll see how it goes. So finally I'm like, what am I doing? Alright, let's rebuild this chamber, and there we go. Calculating lighting, by the way, is pretty slow for my computer. I don't know if everyone's is like that. My rig's getting a little old now. It's about 2 to 3 years old, and I didn't build it. It wasn't cutting edge when I built it, so it's aging, but still works fine. I'm just going to keep on using it until I need to upgrade, or I just feel like spending the money. Alright, so here we go. This is the test now to see if I can land on the same spot as my gel, and I'm doing the jump. So this is the part right here that I was afraid newer players, or would be too complicated for a newer player to learn. the idea to bounce off of the blue gel to get height on the high ground to jump into the low ground. So you'll see that in the later section I attempt to deal with that. Here we go. Gosh, loading is annoying. I might just simply edit these out. That would actually be really nice. I might do that. You might not even hear this voiceover right here, right now. This part right here. The part where I tell you I think you're awesome. No, I probably have to keep it in now. Anyway, continuing off where we were, I was seeing how far the gel was flying. It went a little too far, so here we go. Drop it down one more, and rebuild the chamber. Boring, boring, boring. Ugh. I really do need a better computer. I wonder if that would actually make this faster. It probably would, right? Who knows? Either way, blah, blah, blah. Here we go. Entering into the chamber again one more time, just to test to see where the gel falls and whether or not I fall high enough. Now you'll see I have a white ceiling, I guess, that will be removed in the final product. This is just here for my ease of use. If I always had to use the blue gel to get up higher, it'd be a pain in the butt. Now here I was trying to extend it out to get a nice long jump, and unbeknownst to me, I actually, I thought I hammered it 5 or 6, 7, 8 times to make it longer, and I ran out of space. Wouldn't let me build it any further. So in a little bit here, you'll see me adjust the angle of my launch platform, and right there it is. So now I have to raise this entire section again to make it so that I'm not overshooting or undershooting my shot. But, it's kind of interesting because it all works sort of out in the end. It's a shorter jump, a lower angle jump, but at the same time, because you're falling from the same height as the gel, you're going to still fly just as far, roughly. One thing I hate to say learn, I think I relearned this, is if you're falling into the gel, you won't fly as far as if you fall by yourself. So I think you'll see me fail right here with that. Because I'll go through and I'm like, oh, no, maybe I flew too far, but oh, that's odd. I'll try it again. And, well, there. We're not going to commentate every little thing, I guess, but here it works just perfectly. Excellent, can't wait. I had to double check it just to make sure that on the single jump bounce, instead of bouncing the extra height, it'll still work. And it did, so I raised the area over there a little bit, and we're going to lower all the spots that won't get blue gel on them, or aren't supposed to be the bounce area. Drop the exit up there, because we don't need it in our way anymore. And the stairs. And this is actually kind of a topic I want to talk about a little bit. First of all, in the Portal game, the released version of Portal 2, or Portal 1, they would have probably put water down there. But seeing as how we don't have checkpoints, and seeing as how I didn't want to put somebody through that first stage again just because they maybe underdid their jump, especially since this is a learning level, I definitely wanted to not have to kill players. So that is something I think is really worth knowing and thinking about when you build a map, or a chamber, if you will, is making sure that you aren't punishing players for little things that they might mess up that aren't necessarily fair or easily intentional. Basically, if they're gonna die, I feel like a player should have earned the death, at least especially as when it comes to earlier levels. So now this is the part where I'm sitting down and having a good think. I'm like, well, that's really cool. I could save it and we're done. I did this in 20 minutes. So easy, so fast. Wow. But here I'm deliberating if I really, really want to add in that next room. And I'm thinking about how it's, you have to do 2 different things. And that was when I was like, hey, wait, if you have to do 2 different things that you've never done before, or maybe never done before, to beat this was the 3rd section of this chamber, I'll just make a 2nd section that teaches you both of them individually. And that's what I'll end up doing here in just a moment. As soon as I finish, I think I'll just make sure this chamber works. So here we go. Missed my shot. Woohoo! Alright, spread the goo, and here we go. 1, 2, jump through, bounce. Oh, perfect. I actually landed right in the exit. I'm really happy with how that one turned out. I'm sure that there are, there's an easy place to figure out how far you're going to fall or bounce or any of that stuff, but I always just have to, do it one by one until I figure out where I'm going to land. I don't know, I just haven't done much research in terms of other people's working in this game. So here we are, working on another prospect of chamber building that I really am an advocate of, which is just adding as many white walls as possible. Sometimes I won't. Sometimes you won't always have as many white walls, because it might get confusing to the player to a point where it's not worth it. But in general, I like to just fill the rooms with white, which is kind of funny considering how the first section of this map has 0 white walls and is all black. But that is simply because at that point in the map, I really wanted the player to not be focusing on the portals so much and be focusing purely on this blue gel, which is intended to be a new concept to them in this arena. So here I am. I'm going to go into this area and I'm going to basically test to see how far a 2 drop onto this slanted surface will fling me. And here we go, and you'll see me, I count like 3 or 4 times to make sure I don't mess it up. And it's 5 blocks, which is, I guess, pretty darn good actually. I'm pretty happy with how far that is. It feels like a nice distance to fly. And so, boom, there we go. We're going to drop some blue gel right there. That'll make you bounce to the other side of the room, and I'm going to have to extend it just a little bit, because if you fly 5 blocks, you're probably going to fly another 5 blocks once you jump, or I guess 4 if you will. So there we go. We've got the basis of the second chamber, and the idea, again, is that in the first section, you're going to do something that you're very familiar with, which is a fling, just a basic fling through a slanted portal or an angled portal. But you're going to land on blue gel, and of course you can... No, you can't do the fling onto not blue gel. Yeah, you're going to land on the blue gel unless you jump from the single high area, which won't fling you far enough, and you'll have to get up and try again. Or you can attempt a double fling, in which case you completely negate the blue gel, but I think I removed the ability for that later with how I make the floors. So that works perfectly, like a charm. So I set up these floor, and you're going to see me do a lot of deliberating on what areas in those 2 pits to make white and which ones to make black. Now originally what I was going to do was I was going to have a cube on the other side of this pit, but you'll see in just a couple moments here I decide I want to add fizzlers to the middle, because a fizzler allows me to have a lot more white wall than I would without the fizzler. Lets each section be its own section, and you can't carry over things from one to the other. So because of that, the button on the right to dispense a cube on the left was a necessity. So here you see me, I'm setting my fizzlers, trying to figure out how I want to do it, make sure that, I was originally at this point going to have white on the ceiling. I think I removed that from one, if not both sides. But I wanted to make sure that the fizzler was going to cover that. I wasn't thinking until probably about 5, 10, 20 seconds from now, I'll just raise that up. And pow! Okay, cool. And then I just throw it to one side. This has an interesting side effect, which you might see in my playtest. If not, I'll point it out when it happens, in terms of portal ability. And it's kind of a pet peeve of mine, in terms of how easily it is to shoot portals on certain things. I had trouble with it in my Advanced Momentum, I think it was called, or Advanced Physics level, I think 1 TAC 3. But, yeah, so now I'm going a little liberal with the black walls, primarily because I'm going to, at this point, have the blue gel from the center be what you place around. So if you place blue gel in that pit on the right side, we'll have you won't have to necessarily use the blue gel to bounce yourself high enough to fling yourself. And instead you'll just bounce over onto the center partition, and just walk over to the other side, from where you can portal up. So that was an issue. Now at this point, I needed to make a reason for somebody to take this detour when there's a totally different section. So Death Laser, Fizzler, bam. Nothing's going to happen. Now we just put a little button down that will activate, or deactivate, say, the Death Ray, or the Death Lasers, and pow, there you go. The Fizzler prevents any portals going through, and prevents you from trying to drag the cube through with you, which would ultimately be pointless, but I hate when I can have random pieces flying around at different sections of the level without intention. Number 1, because it can possibly break the puzzle. But number 2, just because it could also be confusing. People might be like, well, I need to bring this cube with me, there might be a button, and I would hate to backtrack. So I try not to do that to my players. So we're going to test this, and I think, if I remember correctly, besides the fact that I can't shoot a portal, it works pretty darn well. So here you see me bounce over. Excellent, I don't know what I'm doing right here, just kind of thinking about it. And this is the problem right here. You'll see, I'm looking, I'm like, did I make it white? I did make it white. Well, the sides are black anyway, so people might not think that that's a white space. So now I'm going to make the sides white, so it's a little more obvious. Which, man, this was not the smartest idea, and I'm going to have to end up undoing it. You've probably noticed it already. I didn't. At this point, I actually started thinking, well, you know what I'll do is if you fall in the pit, you have to start over. That's not going to work either, though, because if you get over here and push the button, you can fall in the pit and completely bypass the second section of the level, which is, of course, kind of important because it's a rather unintuitive thing to do with the blue gel. At least I think it's unintuitive. But still, silly me, I'm going to start playtesting it, and you'll see me notice it. But the big problem I have was, if you noticed, when I was shooting my portal at that blue gel, a portal would stick, and that was simply because of the fizzler location. Because you'll see I've relocated the fizzlers, and now shooting a portal on that location will work just fine. And here we go, waiting for the loading again. Excellent. Here we go. Okay, so the button works. Yeah, okay, whatever. Gonna launch ourselves. This is pretty standard. Blah blah. Bounce. Boom. Cool. Push the button. Cube drops. Awesome. And now this is when I realize, oh yeah, no, I could just walk over there. Cool. Okay, so we'll fix that. That's not gonna happen. We'll have to find another solution for this. But for now, let's see if my intended solution works. Oh crap! They can launch blue gel. Oh, okay. For now, it doesn't look like it's a big issue. It just kind of goes in the wall. Not a big deal. Oh, well, that was unexpected. So if you see there, I didn't do the full double jump, and so I didn't make it the full length. And that was an issue I would have to solve in a little bit, but for now, I just wanted to make sure it worked. So we're flinging ourselves back over, and this time I'll do the full double jump to get maximum height on my jump. Boom, boom, and then through the portal I go, and it works like a charm. Great. I don't want to have to teach people to use the double jump every time, because I think it's kind of an annoying waste of time. So I tried the single jump once more, and it fails. So now, around this time, I should be going back saying, well, how can I fix this? So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to extend this platform right here. And this is when I notice, oh wait, those white portals right there, you could easily just portal back to that center point and completely bypass the partition. Well, that's not good. So I will have to add a secondary dropper of the gel. And what I'm going to end up doing then is just, I move some gel over there, boom. Now you have a shorter distance, so you can just do your single jump and make it. Which is good, doesn't punish people. And I am trying to, if you can think of a good way to show people the double bounce, that's good. The next section of the chamber, when it does mandate that you jump to a second tier, does kind of teach it to you, but you might not notice it. If you're constantly just bouncing and you don't crouch on the gel. So I'm kind of interested in your ideas as to what might be a better way to teach somebody, like, hey, your second jump on blue gel is a little bit higher than the first jump. Okay, so now everything's working. I got my dropper and stuff, and oh, that's kind of annoying. I wonder if people could use that to jump over. No? Okay, cool. And maybe if they can, whatever. They've already made it over there if they can do it. I'm not too worried. But what I am worried about now is, how high is my chamber? Because for some reason, well, not some reason, because I didn't know how far or high I'd be flinging, I made it really tall. At this point, I still want to keep the portal surfaces on the ceilings as quick ways out of the pit. So being really, really high with that could allow you to potentially kind of cheat your way across the level. I really didn't feel like testing it, so I'm just going to completely mitigate the opportunity for you to do that. And right here I'm adding more white walls, because I like white walls and I don't like black walls. I think black walls are constrictive, reduce your imagination, blah blah blah. I don't have to explain to you why it is fun to have white walls to shoot portals on. So now I'm trying to again work out what is a fair location for all of the white things. And this is a key decision I make right here, is to remove the ability for the player to move the blue gel around, at least in this stage. That let me put white walls all over the pit on the inside, and lets me get you a faster way out rather than having to walk to an elevator or up some stairs. It also prevents you from accidentally putting gel onto the other slanted area and bouncing yourself back unintentionally. So it kind of fixes two birds with one stone rather unintentionally. See, as you can see right there. Now, granted, there is a way to not have to go back, but it's a little frustrating. I don't want to put people through that. And so now we're kind of getting to the conclusion. Alright, I'm gonna come over here, drop the button on the cube on the button. Cool, it all works. Now you can move on. Here I'm testing to see if you can just jump on that blue spot so you can get up to the next level. I find out to my frustration that I cannot, but I will also not move that gel around because I want people to have to move the gel to the edge of the stage in order to get up there. So I'm kind of looking around, making sure everything's good, and this is when I decided to start playing with lighting. Because, you know, levels without lighting are a little boring and can be a little hard to get through if you're not sure. And that's another kind of thing I want to bring up right now. I've learned, you know, lighting is really important. Number one, bright chest chamber is a happy test chamber, I guess. I don't know. It's nicer to be in a brighter chamber unless you're trying to set a dark mood. But if you're going to set a dark mood, you need to have a light chamber anyways to show, you know, some contrast. So I'm brightening up my chambers, putting my entrance over there, and I accidentally, here's what's funny, is I accidentally copied the entrance. And you can't delete a copy entrance, I found out. So I'm panicking here, like, oh no, what did I do? Crap. Oh wait, undo. Okay, cool. So undo does fix that. But now I'm going to have to figure out what happens if you do have two entrances, so I'll probably try that out on my own time. You can try it out yourself too if you want to know, because I probably won't make a video about it, but... So now I'm just spreading kind of lamps everywhere randomly that I think would be nice. Accidentally make another double window. I really just want another lamp. And it's looking pretty good. So now all that we need is one final playthrough, full playthrough to make sure it all works, because if you remember, I haven't even checked the first stage. I'm just so certain that it works, because it's so simple, and I've done it before, in terms of, you know, maneuvering around, stuff like that. Like, it's going to work. I'm not too worried about it. So I'm just going to do my final test, or what I think will be my final test of the chamber, and we'll see how it works out. Alright, here we are. So I think that's really cool. Again, I use the drip because it doesn't really impede your bouncing all that much, and I think it, you know, it looks cool, makes you think, makes you look up. Oh look, there's a, you know, dropper up there. Oh cool. For some reason, I just kind of test whether or not I can shoot portals through there. Obviously, I can't. It's Fizzler. And here we go. I'm just kind of playing around now, seeing if there's maybe, like, if you can, like, jump off of the elevator to get some extra momentum. I think you can, but obviously it won't make much of a difference. If you do that, it's more difficult than just jumping from the regular thing anyway, so be my guest. And here's where I found a problem. So right there, I bounced right into a bomb of gel. Well, that's got to go. I think the dropper itself isn't going to be too big of a loss in terms of conveyance on this level, simply because when you look there, there's big patches of blue gel in the middle. You kind of get the idea. So I jump across there, grab the cube. Okay, next we have this, you know, stream of blue gel. I'm going to spread it around here, which is, of course, what you're supposed to do to get up here. Spread it around. And but just by accident, I come down here, and I'm like, oh yeah, I never tested, like, well, you can only jump 2 here, right? Oh, but what if you... And this is where, you'll see I kind of suck. For some reason, I can't get up onto this platform. If anyone knows how that is, why that is, I'd be interested to know. Blue gel does seem to be a little buggy or, you know, unreliable at times. But anyway, so I jump from there onto there, and it's like, oh, yeah, no, that's not intended. I'm afraid that somebody will do that, and of course the idea behind this one, again, is to learn how to do the fling. Or at least reinforce the idea of the fling. With this time you're putting the blue gel down yourself. So I just put a big black area down there and some grading. I like that look a little better than the idea of just putting glass on a floor. So that's what we're going to do. Okay, so I'm, you know, at this point I'm certain that that is all sorted, and so I'm just going to try it one more time, spread some blue goo around. Alright, put my thing down there and bounce. In we go, single bounce to test it. We're good. Okay, so now we know that the chamber works. The lighting, by the way, the whole time I was looking at the lighting looked good. So at this point, I think the chamber is pretty much ready to save. And I have to make a description. Honestly, this is one of my weaker descriptions, but we're not going to talk about that too much. If you sat through this whole thing with me, by the way, thank you very much. You're a wonderful audience. Please check out my test chambers. I'll leave a link to them in the description down below. Comment on them. Subscribe if you will. I'm going to try to keep making more of these. Probably not many at a time. just kind of sprinkle them out over the coming weeks. But I'm having a lot of fun with this. Learning how to make my own chambers is really cool. Trying to make them really understandable is really cool. And as I'm trying to think of more and more different things you can do with each individual piece of my toolkit, I keep imagining better and better things I can do with tools I don't have available yet. So I'm really looking forward to getting to add things like funnels and the faith plates. But anyways, that's about all I've got here. You'll just see I'm just publishing it right now. So thank you all for watching. Please subscribe, share, like, whatever you want to do. I don't know, tell me how this sounds. If it sounds like crap, let me know. I won't do this again. Or I'll try something else, or I'll put on a fake voice. Who knows? But anyways, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time.